Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Yeah, what a terrible, terrible situation for Penn State. OU lost because Mateer is injured and overrated. OU doesn't have the skill position talent. That's why they lost. They don't have enough offensive skill position talent to win a game like that. Well, they do. I mean, it was like a pick 'em, but their offense is not good enough. Oklahoma, the Ducks, I think will be fine. The Ducks will finish 11-1. They're fucked in terms of not making the Big Ten championship. Dude, Katie Porter is one ugly looking individual. Just and her personality is just horrible. That's a downgrade from Newsome if I've ever seen one. Honestly, it is. There's no other way to look at that. Sounds like only three Big Ten teams will make the playoffs. Yeah, no, it's only going to be three. I mean, unless USC somehow goes on a run, but then USC would have to beat Oregon. If USC beats Notre Dame, USC has a chance to make it. Because USC at 10-2 can make it. They could lose to Oregon and still get in. Did you see the story about some guy making 190 million, knowing about the Trump tweets about tariffs? Yeah, there was a lot of market manipulation. People shouldn't really margin trade, or I don't see the point of that. Really, that's such a niche audience that is already so wealthy, and to hear them constantly bitch yesterday was so annoying. They're like, we all got liquidated. Dude, no normie person is doing margin trading, but all those people are very wealthy doing that, and they cried about it. Nebraska won in comeback fashion. Nebraska only has one loss. I mean, Nebraska has an easy schedule, man. They've got USC. Nebraska could go 9-3. They could. I mean, the Big Ten is down this year. Is IU for real or Oregon frauds? I don't really think. I mean, it was a tough game for Oregon. You got to give IU credit in that game, but it's a regular season game, so you factor it in. And I mean, it looks like IU, bearing something unforeseen, they're going to be in the Big Ten championship against probably Ohio State. Venables got exposed today. He's shit against Texas, 1-3. The offensive talent is lacking, and it's not surprising. He's a defensive coach, but he's also been thrown into the meat grinder. That conference is brutal. You're always facing tough teams. Their schedule is going to get insanely hard. Oklahoma, I think there are going to be a lot of people pissed about Venables. They're probably going to end up losing 2 or 3 more games. Everyone is down except a handful of teams. Yeah, that's kind of like the portal error. It's dispersing talent more evenly. You think Franklin gets canned? They have to pay him $50 million to dump him. There has to be a negotiated buyout. There's no way they can pay $50 million. I don't think the Penn State boosters can pay $50 million. But if it's so toxic, Franklin might just negotiate out of it and negotiate his buyout down, because it could get so toxic to where he could get another job and get a lot of money anyways. He doesn't necessarily need a $50 million buyout. He could take like a $30 million buyout and get a nice cushiony job at another school. I mean, it depends. If he's a stickler for that buyout, maybe they have the money to pay it. But I know it's getting really bad with Penn State. It's really just fallen off completely. And they've got Iowa and Ohio State. Is Arch Manning back? I don't even think he looked that good. I don't think Arch Manning looked that good. That was the defense for Texas that won them that game. Texas's offense still doesn't look good. They still look discombobulated. They're still not generating big plays. I mean, that was the Texas defense I thought we were going to get against Florida. That's why I picked them to beat Florida, and they just didn't show up. They straight up didn't show up. So, you get liquidated if Solana dips to 140. God, that would be bad. What is Solana even at right now? It was at like 190 the last time I saw it, but that was before the big dump. Sol is at 170. I don't think it's going to dip to 140, dude. We had like the flash crash already. There's no way it dips to 140. It's like the worst is behind. Thoughts on Underwood? Bryce Underwood, he just looks. He's a young quarterback. I mean, you don't really want to be starting true freshmen, man. You just don't want to do it. Sometimes it works, like with Trevor Lawrence, it worked, but very rarely will it work. And, Michigan doesn't have, they've got maybe a few receivers that are kind of emerging, but, they don't have that skill position talent to really prop up a true freshman. You can't really, starting a true freshman is such a challenge. Ideally, he would be sitting a year behind someone and then starting as a redshirt freshman. If you didn't buy in on Friday night, you missed out. I mean, it depends what you're talking about. I mean, you could buy today and things are still down. Well, I guess if you're talking about the stock market, I think the stock market will probably open down on Monday. That's normally how it works. Like, and then a recovery on Tuesday. Should UCLA fire Belichick? I think they're going to be forced to. They're going to be forced to fire Belichick. That's a terrible situation, and it obviously did not work. They're one of the worst Power Four programs. North Carolina is. Frustrated Notre Dame fan. Is our defense back? Yeah, Notre Dame looks good. I didn't really watch it. They were playing on Peacock. I'm not gonna watch that. Peacock is brutal. The streaming stuff is just so bad. I mean, say what you want about cable. I know so many kids have streaming now, but like streaming is so miserable. You can't even change channels. It's like it's so annoying. Did you see Kai Trump vlog? Uh, I saw a clip with her and Trump in a golf cart. That's about it. Irish getting better and better each week. I know the Irish look good, man. I think if the Irish go 10-2, they're going to be in. They've got that game against USC. USC's a solid team, but they get them at home. So Notre Dame will be favorites in that game against USC for sure. But USC is going to be ranked. It's going to be a ranked game, and Notre Dame needs that. They need a quality win. But if they lose that game, they're going to be out for sure. They have to finish 10-2. Then they got an easy schedule after that USC game. I know. For the playoffs, 5 SEC, 3 Big Ten, Miami, Notre Dame, Texas Tech, Memphis. Yeah, I don't know about 5 for the SEC anymore, man. The SEC looks, I mean, I guess it'll depend on how it shakes out. Like, how many games can Auburn steal from some of those teams? How many games can South Carolina steal? But even the SEC is like, is it good? I mean, I guess it's good, but are these teams great? They're really not. But I mean, I have to give the SEC credit. Obviously, they're way better than the Big Ten. Now, you could make an argument the Big Ten has upper echelon teams, possibly, but the Big Ten just has no depth this year. The Big Ten needs USC to step up. They have if USC beats Notre Dame, that's going to be big for the conference. If USC beats Notre Dame, if they lose to Notre Dame, USC would have 2 losses at that point. Like that's a huge non-conference game for the Big Ten. Because if USC beats Notre Dame, they're going to be pencil. They're going to be people are going to project them to make the playoff because they're going to have 1 loss, and that's a huge road win, and that takes Notre Dame out of it. Peace should help the bull run. That's your hope, Cope. Yeah, well, are you talking about the crypto bull run? The crypto bull run, I think, will be helped by the market conditions and the timing of the 4 year cycle, and hopefully, I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do with these rebate checks. I mean, that's another thing. They said the 2021 bull run was because of the stimulus, and so maybe there's some rebate checks coming. I'm not too sure though. I don't know the probability of that, and I don't know the timing of it either. I've heard there's going to be a prolonged, delayed cycle. That's the new cope because all of these micro charts have been invalidated, so there's going to have to be a buildup again. And we were kind of rearing to go in October and November, but with the pullback, it's unless there's like an immediate reversal, seems like it's going to be a problem to get the timing down for this 4 year cycle to work properly. It's going to be a little bit wonky, I think. Have you seen MTG's media tour lately? She was on Tim Dillon. She's actually amazingly impressive. Yeah, I think she's completely annoying and just an annoying woman that is doing the whole anti-Israel grift. It's like Thomas Massey 2.0. It's like America first. Oh yeah, like that's great. But it's just like it's the same script over and over again with these people. They're gonna bring up Vance. They're gonna bring up Palantir. It's just the same bullshit over and over again. You think it's a good time? You think it's a good time to buy again, or do you think we'll be in a bear market now? No, I think it's a good time to buy. I mean, it's always a good time to buy the stock market, man. Well, I guess it depends. It depends on the stock, but if you're buying an index, it's always a good time to buy relative. It's just for crypto, I think it's a good time to buy. Mizzou played Bama close, very winnable. Yeah, I still don't buy Mizzou. I think Bama had a tough spot. Understand the circumstance for Alabama. They just had two really tough games, two emotional games, and then they go on the road at 11 a.m. and they still win. I mean, yeah, Missouri kept it close, but I'm not a big. I don't think Missouri has a good passing offense. What did Perbula throw for like 160 yards? That's suspect to me. That's just suspect. I mean, we know what's going to happen in Missouri. They're going to get the whole SEC treatment. They're probably not going to drop it all because it's a quality loss. But I think they're going to lose multiple games. They had a ridiculously easy start to the season, and I didn't see a single soul talk about Missouri's schedule at all. I mean, I watched these guys do previews of these games, and Missouri played no one. And all of these guys are like, Missouri's look so good. Well, I wonder why. I wonder why Missouri's look so good. Look at their schedule. It's insane. I mean, if you want to say Kansas is good at facing Kansas at home, I mean, I thought Bama controlled a lot of that game against Missouri today. Bama had like a fluke turnover or something, if I remember, like right at the start of the second half. Or else they were probably going to win that game by like 14 points. Auburn sucks. Dude, Auburn is always the same thing every year. They're an SEC. They was like that SEC team that has talent, but they can never win games. They don't have a quarterback that's good enough. The quarterback. They have to just chill out a bunch of money on a quarterback. If you're Auburn, if you want to win anything, skimping for like Jackson Arnold reclamation project, it's not going to work. Iowa State are frauds. There's another. That's a typical Big 12 team. Right now the Big 12 is Texas Tech and then maybe BYU. Will Ohio State go undefeated? I don't know, man. I mean, I think Ohio State has some problems, honestly. But it's one of those where it's like you nitpick it. But Ohio State, in simple terms, struggles to run the ball against light boxes, against four-man defensive fronts. They're really going to have problems, Ohio State. Now, they've got a ridiculously easy schedule. Like, it's insane how easy it is. And I know a lot of SEC people are going to talk about that constantly. But, you know how the playoffs are. It's a crapshoot. They might go on a run. They're going to have to start running the ball better. All these teams are flawed. They're all flawed. Yeah, UCLA looks good, man. I give UCLA credit. UCLA looks really good. They're 2-4 now. You pick up, you get to a bowl game. You start 0-4 to get to a bowl game from that. They had that tough loss against Northwestern, or they'd be 3-3. And then you lose to New Mexico, you'd be 4-2. I mean, they're better than their record, UCLA. What's your opinion on Trump's like family or friend making 77 million shorting Bitcoin and what? Yeah, I don't really see the. I mean, it's all the people that are involved in that type of trading, margin trading, leverage trading. They're all rich people, anyways. I don't know honestly about that. I mean, obviously somebody had some information if that's true, and but I mean, we're really gonna do this and try and tie it back to Trump. It's like, they try and tie everything to Trump. It's just nauseating at this point. It's like it's always Trump's fault no matter what happens. Well, there was a downshift in the market. Okay. Are they saying that Trump purposely put out that he was going to potentially hit China with a massive tariff and enabled his friends to short Bitcoin to make all that money? I mean, if he did that, obviously, I mean, it's not a lot. It's not he. Somebody had information. He didn't do that for that reason. Why the super late stream this time? Were you out drinking? I always do a later stream on Saturday night because I'm watching college football games, and then people ask me how my date was. Do you know what's causing the current Bitcoin fluctuations, or is it just the norm? Well, you're in Bitcoin. It's very, what is it, down 2%? That's very normal. Very normal for Bitcoin. Maybe some micro charts have been invalidated, but nothing that it can't reverse within a month. Most of the time, it does require, when it goes down like this, it is a sizable decrease relative to what it was previously doing. It normally takes about a month and a half. Normally, there's not a reversal right away. Um, but I don't know. This time, it should be more bullish for Bitcoin to reverse quickly. Your thoughts on CoffeeZilla's video on insider trading? That's just pathetic. What is it against Trump, I'm sure? Weird how both the NFL and NCAA leagues don't have dominant teams this year and have a bunch of middling teams. Yeah, I mean, I think college football, it's because of the transfer portal. It disperses talent more evenly, and NIL. You can't really hoard a bunch of talent now. Um, and then for the NFL, I do think like the Lions are a really good team. I think it's pretty clear the Lions are like, I mean, they're like a 14-win team, if I had to say. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna win. To me, they're like a dominant team, the Lions. Other than that, yeah, the AFC has no one. I mean, I guess you want to say the Chiefs, but the Chiefs are, they were supposed to be the Ravens. I guess the Bills, but I wouldn't even say the Bills. The Bills have no receiver. That's the thing that I don't understand about a team like the Bills. The number one priority should be getting like an elite receiver. If you've got a quarterback like Josh Allen, what good does Josh Allen do if your number one receiver is like a mid player? I don't understand that. Like, obviously, Josh Allen is neutered by the fact that he doesn't have an actual legit receiver. But they think they can just get away with it, I guess, and spend on other areas of their team. But it's just strange to me. Like, obviously, Josh Allen's not going to be very good if he doesn't have receivers. Shoot me your top three alts. Uh, 4chan coin, NASDAQ 420, DXY, USD Gen Index 6900. Thoughts on CoffeeZilla exposing the Trump scammed his fans, urging his audience to fight on the streets against Trump, and that dude is a dumbass liberal. He's a liberal shill. Guy, it's all these annoying white beta males. It's all the same. He looks like and it's not this. I'm not saying it's this, and I'm not trying, but he looks like he's about 5'3" too. That's like an AOC thing, right? AOC did it. AOC called Stephen Miller 410, but that dude looks like a midget. They don't need wide receivers. Josh Allen can elevate them. They need better pass rushers, corner safeties. Yeah, they always say that, and then Buffalo's defense is terrible in the playoffs. It's the same shit every year. I don't really believe that team building bullshit. Like they say we're going to allocate funds to other positions, and the defense always shits the bed. Do you think Trump will still be politically relevant after his term is over? It's hard to imagine a world where Trump isn't influential in politics. Yeah, as long as he's coherent, he'll be relevant. He'll still be relevant, certainly within Republican circles, I would say. If Indiana plays OSU in the Big Ten championship game, who wins? I don't know who would win. It's hard to say. I think Ohio State would be favorites by about 4 points. I think Ohio State would be about 4 point favorites in that game against Indiana right now. Maybe 5 point favorites, somewhere along those lines. But obviously, Ohio State, and Indiana. Well, Indiana doesn't really have anyone left on their schedule, but I mean, I'd have to look at it. I know they face Penn State, but Penn State sucks now. Did you hear about the Afghanistan Pakistan conflict? No, I never. I didn't hear about that. I didn't hear about an update on that. Did someone inside trade Trump's tweet on China? The crypto market was shaped. Yeah, no, I think there was definitely insider trading going on with that. But a lot of it's like, all right, these guys are all margin trading. It's not normie people. It's just like people shouldn't be trading like that anyways. Using leverage. I mean, it's just stored value asset. But I hate trading. I never trade because I don't think you can make money off trading. I mean, I guess if you're an expert, but with crypto, it's always bot trading through arbitrage. It's like I never liked trading. I mean, outside of like Solana meme coins, and I didn't even trade those well. Thoughts on Paul Feinbaum? Yeah, I saw that Paul Feinbaum. He got taken off of ESPN because he wants to run for a Republican position in Alabama. I don't know what he wants to run for senator or something of Alabama. So ESPN took him off air. I'm sleeping a lot better with the colder weather. The colder weather is really nice. The colder weather is really nice to have for sleep. You just put on more blankets and stuff. Yeah, you really can't make money from trading. I think trading is dumb anyways. It's like you make one good trade and you barely make anything. I mean, I guess it depends how much money you put into it, but it's like, you think Trump deserved the Nobel or the Nobel winner was good enough? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the way they decided is strange. They decided like 3 months before the end of the year, so I don't really get it. It's whatever. Personally, I don't care, but I guess Trump does. He cares about the award, so that's why it's like this big thing. He just wants all these awards, basically. I mean, it's like obviously they don't like you. They're probably not going to give it to you. But if he cares about it so much, now everyone's going to talk about it. Um, and then the winner dedicated it to Trump, which was hilarious. John, thank you. Do you think MAGA is a terrorist group? Of course not. MAGA, Make America Great Again. Do you care about the shutdown? Not really, honestly. I mean, unless it lasts too long, then it becomes an issue, I think. But I think they're gonna resolve it. But it's actually gonna take a week until they resolve it. Probably. It's probably gonna take a week. How's your crypto? Yeah, my crypto's down, man. My crypto's down. I mean, some of these devs in these crypto projects, you guys wouldn't believe. It's not good. Getting the Nobel would be amazing propaganda. Yeah, but I mean, does the Nobel even matter? Juan, what's up, man? How are you doing tonight? Just moved into my apartment, and geez, everything is expensive. Thought prices were gonna go down. Hope it's soon. I mean, I guess it depends where you live in terms of apartments, but prices are just gonna be up anyways. I mean, we've dealt with rampant inflation the past 5 years. I mean, that's just the way it is in the world. ESPN News, how come they play college football games? Oh, you saw that tweet? No, they don't play it. It was just on there because, there were a lot of these games that went really late. There were so many games that were like 4 hours long. I don't know why. I guess there were a lot of replays or reviews, whatever. And they had to bump one of the games to ESPN News, which never happens. ESPN News. I remember having AT&T Uverse, and the channel lineup was ESPN, well, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, ESPN News, ESPN Classic. I think they got rid of the Classic. I'm surprised they still have ESPN News at this point. But that type of stuff is that ESPN stuff is gone. ESPN is a shell of itself, and they don't even try and do. I mean, it's all talk shows now, But their ESPN, the highlight stuff has evaporated because of social media. Did you catch the M's Tigers game? Yeah, I saw it. Dude, it's pretty funny. They didn't put the Ghost Runner now is not on second base, so a game goes 15 innings. In the regular season, that game would be over in 10 innings. The Ghost Runner. I still can't believe they allow that in baseball, a Ghost Runner. But that's how bad baseball has gotten. You put a Ghost Runner on second base, but not in the playoffs. BYU or Arizona? Well, I picked BYU to win that game very closely. 15 innings, 5 hours. Yeah, that's pretty. Because normally it's an hour and in it, 3 innings equals an hour, but they kind of sped up the pace of play, so maybe it's a little quicker than that. But when I was growing up, it was always 9 innings. It was like 3 hours the average. Yeah, it is pretty hilarious. Like, think about, dude, all those players. It's such a scam, and I know people are gonna root for the players in the lockout or whatever. When the negotiation comes up for the new media deal. And but those players, they don't give a shit about baseball at all. Well, I shouldn't say that, but most of them don't. Those players wanted 7 inning doubleheaders. They want the runner. They want to play as little baseball as possible. Those players, they really do. And then they sit there and do a sob story about how the owners are taking advantage of us. And I mean, it's the only sport that doesn't have a salary cap. And we're gonna have to sit here and have to listen to this sob story from these players about how they get $300 million. In the NFL, you'd be getting like 40 million, and you get CTE. But these MLB players, isn't that insane? How and then people just fall for it, and they're like, "We're with the players, the evil owners, the evil who were the players." And I get it because the owners are really bad and stuff, and they're billionaires. But it's like, I mean, compare Major League Baseball contracts to NFL contracts, and people still side with these players when these players want 7 inning doubleheaders. They want the ghost runner. They want to play as little baseball as possible. That's what, and they try and sell themselves like they love baseball and stuff. It's all a business. Did you see the Los Angeles Dodgers knocking out Milwaukee? Do you see the so it's the Dodgers against the Brewers? Well, the Brewers get home field advantage. I think the Brewers are going to win in 7. It's got to go 7 if they're going to win because the Dodgers are a hell of a team. Do you think somebody huge crashed out their crypto? Well, I think a lot of people lost money in the crypto. I mean, it's the it's the crypto total market cap went from like 4.5 to 3.9 trillion or 3.7. I mean, it's a drop. It's a drop. I don't know about the insider trading stuff. I mean, that's always going to be there, but I mean, I don't know if there's any proof of that. Both the players and owners are bad. They need to work something out. And well, I think the easiest thing, and I've said this before, you know, there's an easy compromise: a salary cap, and then like a heavy luxury tax and a salary floor. There does have to be a salary floor, and the salary floor is just a competitive balance thing as well. I think they did kind of institute like a rough salary floor or a fake one because they forced the Athletics to sign like Luis Severino when it's obvious they didn't want to sign him, but their payroll was so low. The Athletics payroll was like 27 million, and then they just randomly signed Luis Severino, and I mean it was a disaster contract, but there has to be a salary floor. I think you have to do that as part of because the players they're not they don't want to negotiate at all. But people have to understand there's an even ground if you get a salary cap and a salary floor. That's compromised by both parties. But the players they don't want a salary cap at all. When will you start doing college basketball vids? I don't know about that one, man. That's going to be tough. College basketball is not really it's a very niche thing. It really only works in March or maybe a few videos in February because it's just there's not a big following to college basketball. Why are pro sports teams moving to Las Vegas? Just because of the gambling aspect of it. The gambling aspect, they want to get in that market. It's a tourist trap. It's a tourist city. Those, I mean, the NHL has done good. The NHL has done good in Vegas. I think it's going to be bad for MLB. I think it's been bad for the Raiders and an NBA team. I mean, the NBA can make it work, I think, kind of like the NHL, but for baseball and for football, I don't think Vegas works really well. Clay Travis said best month of sports is October. All sports are playing. Outside of college basketball. College basketball is not playing in October. But yeah, I mean, the NBA starts, the NHL starts, you've got college football, you've got MLB, you've got NFL, obviously. They want it out of Oakland more than anything. Well, the Oakland debacle, I think they could. I mean, based on the media market size, they could have made it work in Oakland. I mean, the ownership wanted out of Oakland, but a team could work in Oakland. I honestly think if they got a new stadium. But at this point, it's like, is it really worth it? They're talking about going back to Montreal. I don't think that's going to happen though. To be fair, NHL is working so well because the league literally handed them a championship level team. Yeah, it's kind of like what you have to do with an expansion team, though, almost. because the demand, it feels like in new cities. Well, I guess it depends what it is. Some cities will embrace a team no matter what because they're just dying for it. But it doesn't feel like the Vegas was really dying for any team. Check the college football scores. Dude, that Sam Levitt didn't play. That's why. That's unfortunate. That's why that line jumped to whatever it was. Did South Carolina? God, South Carolina didn't even cover that 9.5. That's a brutal one. Georgia covered that 3.5. Dude, that's annoying. I thought South Carolina would have covered that easily. Auburn's offense is just brutal. Seriously. Florida lays an egg. Man, how does A&M's offense do that after what they had done the previous 2 weeks? Did you hear Charlie Kirk's Turning Point will be host to Hashtag? Yeah, I did hear about that, and yeah, I'm not too sure about that one, honestly, man. I don't know if that's really gonna work out well doing something like that. I think it's like, to me, the best way to approach that situation is to just not watch the Super Bowl. And I understand people say, well, it doesn't matter. There's going to be too many people watching it anyways. But I think the whole we're going to have our own halftime thing, that's kind of like caring too much about it. And I just think it's kind of I think I get a weird vibe from it. Like it's is it really going to do much? I mean, it's kind of just like look at me. Like that's kind of what I feel about that. I saw that and I was like, I don't know about that one, man. LSU is so bad. I had money on them. 2.5, 5 red zone trips, 2 fumbles, 1 interception, 7 points, 7 field goals. They deserve to lose, but their defense is elite. Well, honestly, that would mean they actually. I mean, that would mean they deserve to win. Like I'd look at the total yardage comparison. Eh, they outgained it by 103 yards. I mean, that doesn't tell the full story, but South Carolina was over 2 on fourth down. That's always a big one. Because normally you go for fourth down in the opponent's territory. That's losing points. What are your thoughts on the Charlie Kirk text being real? His channel people said he was just venting, and it makes sense given the letter to BB. Yeah, I mean, I was pretty surprised they were real. It just didn't seem like something that. I mean, I don't know the way people text, I guess, but it seemed a little bit ridiculous to say like a movie character, announce like a robot, I now must leave the Israel movement or something. That seemed like, I mean, it's like a robot. So I thought that was really strange. But dude, people are so hungry to blame Israel for everything, and that's kind of just the way it is in 2025. And I mean, I'm not saying I love Israel or anything like that. I don't, but you just have to be cognizant of they're just going to blame Israel for everything. And even if most of the evidence points to it not being Israel, if 5% or 10% or 15% or 20%, they're going to take the 5% and they're going to magnitude it or magnify it and then say, well, you're not blaming Israel. You must be a Jewish shill. But it's like I look at these things and it's just, I mean, with it doesn't really matter with me. But I mean, I just look at it and we all knew they were going to blame Israel no matter what. They were going to try and find the evidence because that's what this is. It's a fishing expedition for evidence to just blame Israel. And like the other thing is, and people say, well, the FBI is handling it badly. Well, I mean, the kid is still alive, so I don't know how much they can really release with him going to be found guilty for this in trial. So I don't know how much they can really release on it. Bad Bunny is more American than Rihanna, Maroon 5, Coldplay. Shout out Puerto Rico. Yeah, that's an insane one, Bad Bunny. But it's just globalization of the NFL. That's all it is. I know people are saying, well, it's anti-Trump, but why would the NFL really do that for like an anti-Trump thing? That's really not a good business decision for the NFL to do an anti-Trump thing. It's just more so they want to globalize the sport. So you look at Bad Bunny and like all of his popularity is from like foreign countries. So they want to globalize the sport. Did you see the beef between Officer Tatum and Mark Dice? No, I never saw that, but I'm guessing it has something to do with Brandon Tatum's support of Israel. But I never saw that. Who is Bad Bunny? Never heard before that. Yeah, I never heard. I never knew who that was either. I think that's how most Americans feel. But that's kind of the point of the choice, unfortunately. So by their own logic, why would Israel kill someone? Why wouldn't Israel kill someone like Candace as opposed to an average supporter like Charlie? Well, no, I do think they have a point in terms of if Kirk was turning, that's way more important than someone like Candace constantly being angry at Israel. I mean, what you could say is, well, why wouldn't they kill Candace when she was turning and losing support of Israel? But their argument is, well, because Charlie Kirk had been such a huge supporter of Israel, to lose him like that is a multitude of facts because he was such a huge supporter. Like if Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens comes out and criticizes Israel, nobody really. I mean, everyone's like, yeah, they've done it before. But if Charlie Kirk has like this epiphany, and he's got all this influence with the young people, you know, the effect becomes multiplied significantly higher. So that's basically why. Dude, these night games are brutal for me. They really are. But you can't predict Arizona State's quarterback to be out. Who cares who does the halftime show? Well, I think it's definitely because think about how big the NFL is in general. It really is a flex by the United States to have an entity like the NFL be as big as it is, and the halftime show is really a showcase to the world. So no, I do think the halftime show. You want to say it's not important, you can say that, but it is like a showcase. Honestly, the amount of people globally that watch the NFL, and this is who we're putting up at halftime. I mean, I understand it's only like 10 minutes long or whatever, 15 minutes long, but I do think it's more important than you're making it out to be. Like, that's like a showcase America to the world. And of course, it's just some slop that just kind of shows you where our country's been the past 30, 40 years with the amount of immigration. Washington can beat Michigan. I think it's going to be tough for them. That's a tough game. It's a tough game at noon, 9 a.m. start time, West Coast to East Coast. That's the thing with these conferences and how imbalanced they are. It's the travel back and forth, and it always becomes a thing. Oh, can they really? Can their bodies get acclimated to the 3 hour difference fast enough? I don't know what kind of impact that actually has. I mean, these kids do travel a lot, but jet lag is brutal for me whenever I used to travel. But they got to be traveling like Wednesday, honestly. I mean, I don't know if they can. I don't think they can do that, but yeah, no, I think you guys are underestimating NFL's global appeal and what they're trying to do. I mean, they have games in like 7 different countries at this point. Obviously, they have global appeal. I mean, the NFL is so much bigger. It runs laps around both baseball and basketball. It's not even close. Most of the basketball, I mean, Euro League is different from the NBA. I mean, those people aren't fans of the NBA. They're fans of the Euro League. Those are two different things. Thoughts on the Texas game? Yeah, I mean, I thought Texas defense played well. It doesn't surprise me Texas's defense played well. Oklahoma just doesn't have the skill position talent. As a Michigan fan, you don't like Bryce's demeanor. 2 games now where he's smiling on the sidelines. We're going to be well. I mean, for Michigan, it's like a growing year for them. But I know Michigan fans are not going to be happy. They want to win every year, Michigan. So they every year they want to be competitive, and so last year they weren't really competitive. This year they have 2 losses already. Those people are not happy. Sharon Moore, they got caught cheating. They couldn't really hire a new coach. Remember, they had to like get rid of Harbaugh. Harbaugh had to leave. He fled the program, but they really couldn't hire or do an actual coaching search because the program was there was the idea of sanctions. So they promote Moore, but Moore is not an actual Michigan coach. I mean, he is in over his head completely. He's a coordinator at best. I think he's an offensive line coach, Sharon Moore. So Moore is completely in over his head. They're going to replace him. They're going to spend a bunch of money on someone. I don't know who. But Michigan is going to get a new coach, I would imagine, unless Moore turns it around. Moore was never like meant to be the next Michigan coach. It was kind of forced because they had all the sanction stuff. You didn't cheat? I mean, they ruled you cheated though. They said you cheated, but they didn't want to punish any of the players that are currently on the roster, so that's why they didn't. There's no sanction. There was no vacated wins. Go read the NCAA ruling.
GigaChad, Prince Emoji, often tip $10 through Super Chat. Have you heard of Ballymena, a Protestant town in Ireland where they burned whole housing complexes and forced 2/3 of their migrants to leave? It happened back in June. BBC has an article. Still unrest now.
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about them burning the migrant homes. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's getting worse, and the situation with the amount of migrants coming in is getting worse for the native people in Europe. So it'll probably continue to happen. But I mean, Ireland is extremely liberal, but maybe they're anti-immigration. I don't know. I mean, some of them certainly are. Who actually likes NBA games? Last 8 years, it's been nothing but 3-point attempts. No, I agree with you. I think the NBA has been watered down really badly. They had to do something to reverse whatever happened to the NBA with the amount of offense, and they never did it. So the offense just got out of control. They never corrected it, whether it's allowing hand checking or moving back to 3-point. I mean, they have to do something like that because the league, I think, has gotten really bad. They're gonna have to like either widen the court and move back to 3-point line because the amount of threes, it's like a bad product. Baseball deals with that with the three true outcomes: strikeout, walk, home run. But people, they still like, but all the sports are dealing with stuff like this. I think football is dealing with bad quality quarterback play. On the Epstein things, why would the most powerful people with access to the government go out of their way to kill Epstein but wouldn't scrub incriminating list with their names on it? Yeah, but I think there's just too many loose ends. There's too many people Epstein was connected to. There's too many documents out there to get rid of everything. It's probably something like that. But I mean, I think there's no list or anything like that. I think maybe there's documents that'll incriminate people, but not an actual list or anything. The list would be long gone or it wouldn't exist in the first place. I think they had documents, is what they had, or something. I don't know. Is the SEC the number one conference or is the Big Ten? No, no, no. The SEC has got to be the number one conference. I'm from Ohio, but the SEC is better than the Big Ten. I mean, you could argue the Big Ten has maybe top end teams, um, but the SEC is the better conference. Even though I think the SEC is a bunch of just good teams, but nobody's really great. That's kind of what the SEC is now. How do you widen 3-point line on the corners? You would need to make the court 5 feet. No, not 5 feet. No, just like a foot wider, I think, right? You wouldn't need to make the court 5 feet wider. Devonte Adams, is he a Hall of Fame receiver? I think he probably is. I mean, I'd have to look at his numbers. It depends if he put up enough elite seasons, and they let a lot more people into the Hall of Fame now. I feel like. You were talking to your history professor about the 1965 Act. He claimed people were already considering the idea as far back as the 1920s. Well, they put it. Did you talk to him about the 1924 Immigration Act, where they restricted all the immigration to only Europe? They put that act in because they were getting too much like Asian immigration into the country. Yeah, no, I hear you. You have to give them line, but if you move it back a little bit, you don't have to make it 5 feet. That'd be ridiculous. I know you have to give them room to shoot. Create a 4-point shot. That's like the Harlem Globetrotters, man. 4-point shot. I think that would be like NBA players be like, this is a circus. We're not doing this. With a 4-point shot. Mendoza Heisman. Yeah, I think there's really no true Heisman right now. I think people are trying to give someone the leadership, you know, mantle for the Heisman. I don't think there's really anyone leading it. I mean, what was Mendoza today? Even Mendoza against Iowa was not very good either. I mean, these are not I mean, go on the road, get a win. That's a nice win, but these are not Heisman numbers right here. I mean, Dante Moore was really bad. 34 attempts, 186 yards is really bad efficiency.
GigaChad, Prince Emoji, often tip $5 through Super Chat. They recently burned 6 cars in Sept and destroyed a house for illegal migrants at a hotel outside of the city. BBC interviewed their employer Sam Carson.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of, I mean, this is what happens when you've got these cultures clashing. These people didn't, I mean, the thing is with the Irish is they are extremely liberal. But not all of them. So some of them, I'm sure, are very angry about the amount of migrants coming in. Arguably, Dante Moore played better. One unlucky pick that tipped off lineman, garbage time pick. Both QBs were checked. I mean, dude, but even if you remove the picks, this efficiency is horrible. I mean, yeah, both QBs did not play well. BYU makes a field goal. Do you like the new 12-team playoff format? Um, I think it has its pros and cons. The problem with the playoff is just like it seems like the games are obviously they're going to be less meaningful, but even in the playoffs they're less meaningful. Like the semifinal games last year felt less meaningful, and I thought they should have changed the format because the games were on like a Wednesday night and a Thursday night. I think that's terrible. I think they should have it on Saturday doubleheader like they used to do, with the 4 teams. But the problem is with college football, and this was something that was never going to be worked around because of how the opt-outs work. The other New Year's Six games were so bad, they had to there's no other point to the New Year's Six games that were not involved in the playoff were so terrible because of the opt-outs. I remember Ohio State Missouri. Remember that game? That's why they had to make the games meaningful. The New Year's Six games. They're making America look like pussies, all I'll say. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people in the United States that I mean, it's we'll see what their policy is. If they're going to vote on it and they decide to kick out the migrants, good for them. You know that Europe, they're actually in a better spot demographically than we are here in terms of, keeping a culture. Um, Savannah Bananas, the future of baseball. They're like the Harlem Globetrotters. They're not the future of baseball. They're just like an entertaining, act or whatever. But I mean, what do you mean? Colorado rushed the field after beating Iowa State. Hell, amazing. Why are libs mad about the Israeli peace deal? I just think they don't like Trump, so they're going to criticize him for anything. Yeah, I did hear about that story about the black student. What they tried arguing that. Yeah, they're just desperate for anything at this point. Especially, they're desperate to have victim points after the Charlie Kirk assassination, basically. Yeah, that was Devin Brown wearing 33, dude. Devin Brown. That type of stuff has to be eliminated. You can't have that type of stuff in college football. So that's why I mean that's a New Year's Six game. So no wonder they expanded the playoff. That's why I was always in favor of the playoff expanding. That's the exact reason. Because if these are the most important games, the Rose Bowl is going to have people sitting out. Like, what are we doing here? So you have to make the games meaningful. Looking back, how did SMU make the playoff? They literally played no one because it was like it's three loss SEC teams. But I agree. I mean SMU, but also SMU is in a Power Four conference now. Nobody in America even protests immigration. But the protests are just, I don't know, man. It seems like nothing gets accomplished with protests in the United States. I mean, look at all these liberal protests. They accomplish nothing. They're organized and they do these protests. They don't accomplish anything. Bama had four losses. I think Bama had three losses, but then they lost to Michigan in the bowl game. But they were trying to argue they should be in with three losses, basically. They're paid edge. I mean, some of them are paid, but not all of them. There's too many of them. When they have those No Kings protests and they have that many people, not all of them are paid. I mean, some of them are. You're a Gators fan. You're really hoping you get Lane. Dude, what is with those coaches? I swear the SEC just passes around coaches. Like Lane Kiffin's going to go to another SEC team. Hugh Freeze is on like five SEC teams at this point. Like how many of these coaches just go? They just go to every SEC team. They just go to every different SEC team. Like Brian Kelly's going to go to a different SEC team next year. Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech won. Yeah, Georgia Tech won by 15 points against Virginia Tech. So they covered that 14 and a half point spread. That's tragic. How's your weekend going? Oh, it's going fine. I'm enjoying the colder weather, if I gotta be honest. Liberals keep playing into Trump's hand. Dude, I'm trying to like listen to some of these. I was listening to this Piers Morgan debate. This stuff is just like this liberal dude was arguing that the Democrats were the party of like trying to enforce law and police. And it was against Michael Knowles, but it's like, bro, what are you talking about? you're going to try and argue that your party promotes the police force and heavy police presence. Like, this is just retarded, man. Like, after what we saw with 2020, and they, of course, they just, because the amount of minorities that are arrested, they say, well, cops are just racist, so we shouldn't have cops. And now they're trying to argue, oh, we actually like the cops more. Okay. Thoughts on Texas Tech? They've looked good. Yeah, I mean, they got the quarterback injury, though, to Morton. So I don't know what's happening with that. They got a quarterback injury. Do you think Signetti will leave Indiana? It's hard to say. I mean, I think he's going to get a crazy offer, you know. Like, who's going to give him a crazy offer? Auburn, maybe? Penn State's not going to have the money. I don't know. What's the best job opening? Is Penn State the best job opening? But I don't even know if Penn State will be open. How many more wins in a row for UCLA to be ranked? You're gonna have to win a lot of because you're 2-4. You're gonna have to get to 6-4 at least, probably 7-4 to think about being ranked. He won't live. He just signed an 8-year contract last year. He's already sick. Yeah, but it really doesn't. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It just depends. Like any of the contract stuff is irrelevant because he's gonna get so much more money. It just depends if he wants to leave or not. Like the contract doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. He's gonna get offered more money elsewhere, I would imagine. But if he just wants to stay because he likes it, that's the way they keep him. Arrogant douchebag, but hell of a coach, Signetti. Yeah, I mean, we'll see if they can keep this up. I mean, you know, it is impressive what they've done, even though they laid an egg in the playoff last year. You're allowed to leave your contract. Well, that's why the whole player empowerment thing is there because coaches can basically breach their contract at any point. If they get a bigger offer, obviously they're going to do that. Well, I mean, if you want me to check these other teams, I'm going to have to go to FBS. Penn State lost, man. It's just 22-point favorites, 21-point favorites. That's a good performance by Wake Forest, actually. Man, Oregon State already has played 7 games. How have they played 7 games? That seems. I don't know of another team that's played 7 games yet. Week 0, maybe. They're 0-7. Who do you think makes the group of 5, UCF, Memphis, or other? I think the group of 5 is really bad. The group of 5 is really bad this year. I think Memphis is the favorite for sure. But UCF just lost. Wait, no, UCF is not group of 5 anymore. But it would be Memphis. I don't know where UNLV is, man. Wow. 51-48. They're 6-0 now, UNLV. Man, Air Force is 1-5. You know, Air Force had a really good year like 3 years ago. 600 yards of offense for each team. Air Force 428 yards rushing. Higher scoring game in the Mountain West. Army or Navy? I think, well, Navy's better this year, I would imagine. Man, Navy won by 1 point. I don't know. Let's actually see this. Oof. Be like a 3 point game, I'm guessing. You know how it always is with Army Navy. You know, Harvard is really good for an FCS team. I know Harvard is very good this year. Who do you think? Do you think Georgia Tech are frauds? Yeah, I think Georgia Tech's a bit of a fraudulent team, but they're kind of ranked low anyways. So I mean, I guess they're fine. Who would be your top four? I mean, who? Probably Miami would have to be number one. Ohio State, Indiana. I mean, what are the other undefeated teams? Texas A&M. You really can't put Ole Miss there. Sora too. This technology is dangerous. Yeah, I hear you. I've been seeing some of the video technology on that. The AI stuff. Yeah, the AI stuff is odd, man. But it's like evolution. Human technological advancement. Do you think Ole Miss are frauds? I don't know. They didn't look very good. I'll say that. They did not look very good today. Fake CCTV footage to convict people. But I mean, that should be found out. I mean, that shouldn't be allowed through. You would think, but I don't know, man. It's gonna be bad during election season. Yeah, there's gonna be a few people that get fooled, especially 2028. How good it's gonna be in 2028. Kai Trump coin. Dude, some of the AI on Stephen Hawking, have you seen those? The Stephen Hawking ones are hilarious. The Stephen Hawking ones. Trump skateboard park. Those are funny ones. No, there's no way Kai Trump is taller than Donald. She's decently tall though. Did you see Cenk Uygur clip on Asmongold? Um, yeah, he was like criticizing Asmongold. I don't know, man. Asmongold was saying something. I think a lot of it's just like clip farming with these people. They try and clip farm. So that's a lot of it, dude. Like whatever these people say, whenever it's something crazy, it's just they take what he says out of context. Yeah, I mean, he was talking about something about I don't know. I mean, he doesn't seem like he's an extreme person, anyways. He comes into politics and then, I guess is right wing. So, but I don't know. Mm. What do you think about the New Jersey governor's race? I don't know. It's a tough one, man. I would have to I'd have to take a look at it here. It's 80-20. I mean, I think Citarelli has a chance. I think he's got a chance. I think these might be a little bit low. I think it's like 60-40, honestly. Thoughts on Georgia Ole Miss? It's at in Athens, I think. Yeah. I think I like Georgia, but I mean Georgia's going to be favorites in that game. I guess it depends what the spread is, because you might have because there's going to be a potential bounce back for Ole Miss, and people are already going to say, well, it's a look ahead. That's the reason Ole Miss played so bad. So probably going to be like Georgia -6 or -5 if I had to guess. Georgia's at home. Asmongold dogged Shank yogurt. I mean, that's what the internet is, dude. That's all it is. It's just these people just respond to each other. It's drama. Dude, that's what I think. It's just like the sheer amount of people, the sheer amount of storylines that are on the internet. It's just like, oh my God. It's just like every day it's something with one of these influencer people. The text message. I think the text message did change something. I don't think Jay Jones is going to win. Now, Spanberger is probably going to win. Yeah, that is what it is. They were doing a Democrat internal poll that had Jay Jones up by 1. That's a big problem for them. I don't think Wemby is still growing, dude. You can't be still growing at 22, or he's got to be like 22 at this point, right? You're not growing at 22. You frequently hear about beef between two people you literally never heard of. It's pretty common. Well, I mean, most of these people I've heard of before, but it's like I was just thinking about like the webs that we see on the internet and all these people and just yeah, I don't think Jones is going to win either. Certainly, but Earl Sears is probably going to lose. I mean, the liberals are going to take the governorship. They're going to, I mean, but because Youngkin can't run again, so they can be happy about that. Males grow through 25. No, their brains develop through 25. That's what it is. They don't grow when they're 22 or 23. You're done growing unless it's like something insane. By the time you're like 18 or 19, you're completely done growing tall. The brain development, yes, is through 25, I believe. Yeah, I don't know about the Civil War stuff, man. I mean, everyone says it's going to be a Civil War. Everyone says it's going to be World War III. It's you can't really. There's no point in trying to predict that. What does Elon Musk mean when he says he's cash broke when he's worth $500 billion? So Elon's saying he can't get 50 billion physical cash if he wanted to. He can't. He would have to sell because he owns a bunch of stock in Tesla. That's where most of his money is. So his money is in a company. So he would have to sell his positions to get fiat, actual money. And if he tries to sell all of his positions, it would tank the stock. If he tried to sell at the same time, he could sell slowly over time. But that's just kind of how net worth is when you have a company like that. The Republican is winning New Jersey. No, I can definitely see. I can definitely see it. 100%. Virginia's hard, but you have to try and get one of them because you know they're gonna scream if they take both. Even though they're liberal states, liberals are gonna use that and say, "Well, nobody likes Trump." See, but I think New Jersey is definitely the option that they'd have to try and pick off New Jersey. The height talk, dude, you're cooked, bro. You're 5'4". You're telling me you're cooked, bro. World War III would probably be the nail in the coffin for us. Not for the United States. The United States is situated in a good spot for a world war. You know, we're not surrounded by really anyone. I mean, they can launch missiles at us, I guess, but if it's ground fighting, we'd be in a great spot. Most highly successful people keep their wealth and assets, right? Well, it has to be in assets. I mean, what are you just gonna have $500 million in your bank account? You don't see how anyone can stomach voting for spam after the debate. Well, you know how it is. I mean, these are they're liberal people. They're gonna vote for the liberal no matter what happens in the debate. The debate really doesn't change a ton. The debates that happen nowadays in politics. Do you think it's too dangerous for Trump's health being 80 years old and playing 18 holes at a pro golf course? Well, I know that Trump, I don't think golf is bad for your health in any strenuous way, but I do know that he had another uh, medical checkup, another physical. He got a booster shot. Trump did. I don't know if that's like his fourth or his fifth booster, but obviously he's a lot older, so you know you're more susceptible to COVID. But it is kind of funny that he keeps getting these boosters. Remember that I would get drafted. Get drafted. They're not gonna be a draft. I'm not gonna get drafted. I'm not even eligible. I'm too old. It's 18 through 25. I just turned 26. Yeah, Miami could win the national title for sure. A lot of teams could win the net. You know, it's kind of open right now, but Miami's definitely a team that could win. They will increase draft age as they need more bodies, like Ukraine and Russia. But the United States is never going to be in that position. It's just, especially based on where we're located, where are they going to send us to fucking fight in another country? I just can't see it. Will you disavow Trump? Yeah, that's like the worst fucking thing in June. Yeah, that was annoying. Remember that, dude? But that's kind of like you look back on it, the US's involvement in that, but I mean, they say it's not over. You can't even really argue with these people. They say, well, Trump's a cuck to Israel. Well, it lasted 2 days. No, but it's going to start again. Okay, well, what do you want me to say about that? It's going to start again? Well, it hasn't started yet. Like, you tried joining the military, they wouldn't let you. Probably because they probably deem you unstable or something, if I had to guess, or if you're on some type of medication, they're not going to let you in. No college football recap video. Yeah, I haven't been doing those. I mean, I'd be fine with talking about the games. I don't know if I don't think I'm going to do one. It's either a stream or a recap video. It is over. It is over even if it picks up again. Now, I think that's disingenuous. I think, we'll see what happens. But my whole point is, well, what are we even talking about here? We're arguing about a war in which, like, it is pretty insane. The United States, when you look at that war, our troops and, like, the United States personnel or military bases, the singular military base they got shot at, we were forewarned, and none of the missiles ended up impacting anywhere near our base. So that's how horrible the war. They're just gonna say, well, it's gonna pick up again, but it's like there's literally nothing that happened to anything in relation to U.S. personnel. The withdrawal, the Biden withdrawal, was 1,000 times worse than in terms of the casualties than this massive war we had with Iran that they were trying to say. But a lot of it is like, the Israel factor. Would you ever live in the South? I can't do the weather. I can't do the weather, man. I need colder weather. Do libs turn down the temperature when we hit 2028, win or lose? I have no clue. You've missed my streams the whole week. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen you in here, man. What'd you think of the Bama game? I thought that's a good win for Bama. It's a good win for Bama. 11 a.m. start on the road, tough environment. I don't think Missouri's that great, honestly, but still winning an SEC game on the road, like, I mean, you got to take the win. You just got to take it. It's just a win in advance in the SEC. You've been at a trade show in Miami and missed the last two. Dude, you travel everywhere, I feel like. You do a lot of traveling. When do you think the bull run is starting? You get kicked in the nuts. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people thought it was starting with October, the narrative. I mean, look at the amount of people that lost money margin trading, leverage trading. A lot of people thought we were in a very bullish time, and we still are, but all right, guys, that's gonna do it for the stream. I'm gonna end it there. I started the stream pretty late. What do you think about Christopher Nolan? Yeah, I think he has a lot of good movies and some not so good movies, but definitely a lot of great movies, a lot of great soundtracks. You applied to Wendy's after what happened on Friday? I don't know. I don't know what you're referencing there, man. Wendy's, the fast food place? All right, guys. I'll see ya.